Rose Kennedy, mother of the assassinated U.S. President John F. Kennedy, outlived 4 of her children, 3 grandchildren, 3 sons-in-law, her daughter-in-law Jacqueline, and passed away at the age of 104. Where does the saying "no risk, no champagne" come from? In old France, wine bottles used to explode. So going down to the cellar to grab a bottle of champagne was a real risk. People wore special protective suits to guard against flying glass. Sommeliers often ended up missing fingers or even an eye. This iconic photo shows music legend John Lennon signing a copy of his double fantasy album for Mark David Chapman, the man who would murder him less than 6 hours later. American scientist James Stuckey and volunteer Judy Creedon demonstrate the human body's ability to conduct electricity during a lecture in New York, organized by the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission, 1966. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles rule! For many, this may be a childhood film and a favorite cartoon, but it is much more interesting than the modern interpretation. This remarkable creature, known as the magnificent Argentine bird, had a wingspan of up to 7 meters, making it the largest flying bird in history. It lived around 6 million years ago in the open plains of Argentina and the Andes. A relative of modern vultures and storks, its feathers were said to be as long as a samurai sword. An American farmer showcases his vehicle powered by a goat running in a treadmill. The Goat-mobile could reach speeds up to 15 kilometers per hour. A spare goat sits on top. 14-year-old boy Samson holds a 90-kilogram motorcycle and rider above his head. May 28, 1932. The mayor, district attorney, and other New York officials read the Daily News front page about Stalin's death during the boxing event at Madison Square Garden, New York, 1953. In 1907, American biologist and physician Duncan McDougall proved the existence of the soul by weighing a person before and after death, concluding that the soul weighs 21 grams. The experiment was absurd. The soul is immaterial, and you can't weigh something immaterial, just like weighing a flash drive before and after adding files. Still, many believe the soul weighs 21 grams. In 1941, during a Philharmonic concert in Norway, a group of Nazis stormed the hall aiming to capture violinist Ernst Glasser, who had Jewish roots, and hand him over to the German occupiers. However, conductor Harold Heide immediately ordered the orchestra to play Norway's national anthem, confusing the attackers and giving Glasser a chance to escape backstage. Jonas Salk refused to patent his polio vaccine in 1955. He gave up $7 billion in potential profits to make the vaccine accessible to children worldwide. Thanks to him, polio cases have dropped by 96%. Human cannonball stunts were first performed in the late 1880s at the famous Franconi Circus in Paris. The act was called the human bomb. A massive cannon was placed in the center of the arena, and the crew loaded it with a human projectile, played by the performer Miss Lulu. One eyewitness recalled, "The music stopped, and a tense silence fell. Then came a sharp command, "Fire!" With a thunderous blast, flames and smoke erupted as the living bomb shot out of the cannon. The effect was astonishing. France's last duel took place in 1967 between Gaston Defferre, the socialist mayor of Marseille, and Gaullist deputy René Ribière. It all began when Defferre insulted Ribière in Parliament, calling him an idiot. Ribière demanded an apology. When Defferre refused, a duel was arranged. Defferre wounded Ribière twice in the arm, and the duel was then called off. A nightclub in Paris where everyone chooses their own music to dance to by tuning it through their headphones. 1963. Filipino politician Reynaldo Dagsa was taking a photo of his family when he unknowingly captured his own assassin aiming at him in the background. The shooter turned out to be a car thief whom Dagsa had previously helped send to prison. Sylvester Stallone landed his first film role in 1970 in an adult movie titled The Party at Kitty and Studs, later re-released as The Italian Stallion. A Chinese businessman wanted to eliminate his rival and hired a hitman, but things didn't go as planned. The story took a bizarre and almost comical turn. Businessman Tan Yuhui paid 2 million yuan to a man named Shi Guandan to kill his competitor, Wei. Instead of doing the job, Shi kept half the money and subcontracted the hit for 1 million yuan. The second hitman, Mo Tianshang, did the same, keeping half and hiring a third. This pattern continued until a fifth hitman was hired for just 100,000 yen. He decided the pay wasn't worth it and contacted the intended target instead, suggesting they fake his death. In the end, all 6 men were arrested and sentenced. The British colony of Zanzibar, off Africa's east coast. A tired nanny poses beside her charge, Farouk Bulsara. 25 years later, the boy would become known as Freddie Mercury. 1947. When Pablo Picasso was born, the midwife thought he was stillborn. It was his cigar-smoking uncle who saved him. Seeing the lifeless baby on the table, he blew smoke into his face, prompting Pablo to cry out. In a way, you could say smoking saved Picasso's life.